Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussions on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe of Ultron, Legendary Defender, Star vs. the Force of Evil, and RWBY. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Delaney Stovall.
Hey, y'all.
Today, Delaney and I will be discussing Taking Control, Chapter 11 of Volume 4 of RWBY. We discuss RWBY every week here on the Overly Animated Podcast that it's new. You can check us out at overlyanimated.com or search for the Overly Animated Podcast on iTunes or your other favorite podcatcher. Spoilers for Taking Control came out yesterday for subscribers. We're recording a Sunday, and last episode before the season finale next week. And then RWBY, we already got confirmation RWBY back in the fall, so hooray. At least we're on a pretty regular schedule, and that's good. Them putting out the date, I think, beforehand. So let's get into Taking Control. Delaney, what are your reactions to this episode?
I think it was like an okay episode. I don't really think I have strong feelings that are like negative or like really great. There's some moments in the episode that I liked, some I didn't. And we get to see everyone then. We get to see all of our players, which is good, except Oscar, but who cares? It was okay. Like it was fine.
Yeah. I think the most notable thing about this episode is just where we are in the season compared to last year.
Right.
I think last year's episode before the finale we had the Atom moment. I think that was in that era.
Yes.
Yeah. So they were going all out then. This episode didn't have its Atom moment, so it's already better. But
true.
But like this seems to be just a completely different season structure than last year's. We'll talk about why they're playing it so much slower. Certainly this show doesn't seem to it doesn't seem to be an optimized weekly show. Like that's become super clear this year. But this is a pretty slow one before the finale, and looks like we'll have a slower finale compared to normal. I thought this episode was fine. I don't know. At times, at times it was bad. At times it was fine. I didn't think anything was great, except seeing the Knuckle V at the end. I did enjoy that. So, and we'll discuss why that's what it is. Probably
why it has the weirdest name.
Yeah, so we'll discuss that. But I think that was the best part, was the ending, and maybe the actually getting some direction in the Mistral stuff, I would say, was good.
Like my child Blake is doing great things.
Yeah. We'll discuss whether this was a good Blake episode. So we had 5 parts of the episode. We had Cinder, Yang, Weiss, Blake, and our Kuro Yuri parts. What was your favorite of the 5?
It's probably between, I don't know, I just really like Yang like spray painting her arm, because I was like wondering if she was going to do that or not. But I mean, I really liked the Cinder stuff until Tyrion appeared. But I guess my favorite part is probably between Weiss and Blake.
Okay. I thought the Weiss stuff didn't have really anything happening. I don't know. I think we could have done better stuff with Weiss. This was pretty like the most base level stuff we could have done for her.
Well, escaping. I think if it had been like its own episode, like I don't know, like it was gorgeous, and then I just really enjoyed like the sounds, like her heels and like.
Yeah. Why was she escaping in heels? Good call, bad call.
Bad call, obviously, but she has to keep her aesthetic at all times. So I mean, respect.
So do you think? I think there's 2 ways to look at that. One, it's like a respect keeping her her outfit. 2 is this is the creators being pretty sexist. I'd say is another way of looking at this. Like I don't think that anyone would ever escape in heels, and not understanding that seems pretty stupid. But we had that. I think the Yang stuff was fine. Also pretty basic. Yeah, I agree. The Cinder was great until Tyrion came in, and then it was bad. So
yes, it's exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah, and the Blake stuff was really some of it was pretty terrible, and then it was okay at the end. So I don't know. We can go start to finish here. So let's talk. So I think we a while ago said that we'll not see Cinder again until the second to last episode. So we were right on that. So yay. But really nothing's happening here.
No.
So we don't really know what any of them are doing. It's just Cinder's kind of training with Salem, and it's like the season to this point has kind of ignored the fact that Cinder got like superpowers last season.
Right.
So I'm glad.
I forgot.
Yeah, I did too. So that's what she's doing. We're trying to hone the maiden powers, and it doesn't seem like it's working. What's your take on Cinder at this point in the series? Do you think she's like either using her well? Do you think she's a good character?
Well, I mean, we haven't seen a lot of her. I mean, I think they're doing interesting things with her. I think Cinder's gonna kind of go good. There's a moment in this episode where I was like, Cinder might be good. We'll just have to see. Granted, it's also hard to, it's hard to compare, like, Dr. Draken level kind of, like, she go evil versus, like, Salem, like, goddess of darkness. So, we'll have to see. It's okay. Just, they're not doing much. We have so much going on in this season, and all of it's really boring. It's hard to be like, yeah, they're doing good things with this character, when it's like, no one is exciting.
Yeah, no, this is, yes, in general. I think that Cinder, particularly bad use of Cinder this season compared to other characters. So if we're trying to feel...
They literally made it like a thing that she couldn't talk, and that's like really irritating.
Yeah, I don't know what the point of that is. I don't understand what we're doing. The problem with trying to make Cinder the sympathetic figure and have Salem be kind of bad or something, is that we haven't really seen Salem do anything bad, and we've seen Cinder kill one of our favorites. So I think we forget this. Like, yeah, I like Cinder too, I guess, and I'd like it if she was good.
Straight up murdered Pyrrho.
See, Ruby's never like gonna be friends with Cinder. Literally,
no. Literally no.
Why would that ever happen? Yeah, no,
very confused.
Yeah, so don't understand what they're doing with Cinder.
She's just like nice in comparison to the literal crazy she's around the whole time. So.
I guess so, yeah. I guess so.
In comparison to Tyrion, like, yeah, I'd hang out with Cinder.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Thoughts on Salem?
I mean, she's just dark and mysterious. That's it. That's all she has to her character right now. I mean, her character design's, like, terrifying, but...
Yeah, great design. Still don't understand what they're doing with her. Is she the Groom Queen? Is she eternal? Is she one of the brothers?
She speaks in riddles.
Like, like, what's going on here? She had a line here that made no sense on initial interpretation. So Tyrion comes in, reports the failure. I
was really kind of hoping that Salem was just going to straight up murder him, and I was going to be like, yes, get rid of Tyrion, but no, that's not what happened.
Yeah, I think that's actually a decent thing they could have done, because Salem is not scary to me at all right now, and if Salem's supposed to be a big bad and terrifying, you should probably just have her kill Tyrion. I think that'd be fine. I don't know.
I was also like the way the scene was playing out, like I was like, I'm expecting her to just kill him.
Yeah.
But she didn't, and I was like, okay.
She just let him wallow in his misery, I guess. That's kind of it's kind of bad too. I don't know. Tyrion reports the failure, says he poisoned Crow.
And then is that when she was like, the third eye is blinded or something?
She says that after that. So she says the last eye is blinded. So I have an interpretation of this. So I definitely did not think of this myself. I had to go to the discussion threads. But last eye is blinded, probably referring to Crow being Ozpin's last eye, I guess, like a spy for Ozpin type thing. So it's a comment on one of Ozpin's lackeys going down, basically.
Well, I mean, I had this like Delaney doesn't go on the threads or anything. Yeah. And like, I mean, I wasn't thinking particularly Ozpin. I was just more like Crow, like he's like really the only person who understands what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Crow being an eye kind of makes sense because he seems to get things right. So yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Like he's like he's like the only one. He's like maybe the only one that like she considers like a threat.
Yeah. So I guess that's why she didn't kill Tyrion, because at least we got rid of the nuisance Crow, maybe.
Also rip Crow, probably.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll revisit our Death Watch here, but we got confirmed that Tyrion definitely thinks he's gone, so that's good. And confident enough to report that to Salem. That being said, if he didn't have that to report, then he'd have nothing. So
maybe if Crow doesn't die, then Salem like sees Crow and she just like
she'd definitely kill Tyrion. She'd kill Tyrion then. Yeah,
Dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a comment on this line. So I think the show 90% of the time says things super straightforwardly to a boring extent, and then sometimes it has these stupid cryptic lines, and I don't understand why they don't just say something like that. Why can't we do something in the middle here? I don't think this line. Try to be
like vague and cool, and it's like I literally have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, you need to give us more here. The problem is that you never get to give any story details, so the vague
makes no sense.
Yeah, vague lines don't work. So I'm not a fan of that line. Then we see Tyrion just wailing on this Grim for like 20 seconds.
Did not enjoy it.
Yeah,
It was
I didn't enjoy it either.
like, I know Grimm are like creatures of darkness, but I'm still like, this was unnecessary.
If Salem's the Grim Queen, then why would she want to hurt the Grim? That's my
And then
question.
especially like she was just like having the Grimm, and then Cinder was just like killing them, and I'm like, what's the point?
I don't understand
This
that.
is weird. None of it makes sense. I don't like it. It was irritating. I also just hate Tyrion, and this just made it worse. It's just not. It was just pointless.
Yeah, this is a bad look for Tyrion. Also, this scene had the type of thing where we have a much more important female character, and then the male character comes in, and we focus on them the whole time instead of the female character for really no reason. Because it's not like Tyrion's a prominent character on the show, so I don't understand taking the focus away from Cinder when Tyrion comes in. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's really irritating. And then, granted, we did then have that moment of Cinder kind of looking like horrified by what he was doing. So like that was kind of where I'm like, Cinder, good? Question mark. But then I'm like, you also killed Pyrrha, so IDK.
Will we see Cinder, Salem, or Tyrion again in the finale?
I would say probably Cinder, maybe Salem. I don't think we're seeing Tyrion again.
I don't think we'll see any of them. I don't know how they'd work into the story next episode.
Who knows? I don't know how anything's working. The season makes no sense.
I mean, basically nothing's gonna happen in the finale.
Exactly.
We're gonna fight the big Grim. So
yeah, that's it.
I do have one really interesting theory, but yeah, we're not gonna. I don't think we're gonna see Cinder or Salem again. So next season, Cinder redemption, yes or no?
Perhaps. I'm gonna go with yes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but like, to what extent? You know, she's. It's not gonna. Our heroes can't see her as sympathetic, and if they do try to do that, I'd be upset. So,
and no one's gonna listen to her. Like, she literally, like, she's part of why Beacon fell. Like,
yeah, I will say the season also very bad for Emerald and Mercury. I miss Emerald. Where is she?
Yeah,
free her.
Miss Emerald.
Free her. So will they redeem along with Cinder? We'll see. Cinder, I
can
think
see Emerald like just kind of being on her own.
Yeah, we saw signs of this last season. Emerald being friendly with Team RWBY. So I think like episode 1 of last season. But yeah, Cinder. I think we also could go the opposite direction with Cinder. This could be about like destroying what's left. Yeah, destroying what's left of her humanity. I guess might be what Salem trying to do.
Yeah,
so,
maybe.
We'll see. So there's our check-in on Cinder. So Yang scene, the spray paint, the highlight.
Yes, I really liked it. It's cool. It's one, it like looked really good, and also I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that was good. But then she talks to their dad, and he's like, "Where are you going? Find your mom, or to go find RWBY?"
And we don't know. I think she's gonna go find RWBY.
Yeah, she
better go find RWBY.
Just 0% chance of her going to her mom, right? Like,
Hello.
Why would we do that? I guess we did see her this season, so they kind of set it up. But
no, I'd be so irritated with Yang.
Yeah.
Like the most irritated.
Yeah, Yang going. So what do you think of Yang's leaving now and this being a conclusion to a recovery arc?
I mean, I think it's good. It's fine. They didn't like completely like butcher it like they thought they would. So like,
yeah, no, better than expected. They took their time with it, which I think is more of a commentary on the pace of the season than anything. But they did some blind, tone deaf comments to that one episode with the kitchen with everyone. But other than that, I think that they did handle it really well, or better than you'd think.
Better than expected.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think the Yang check-ins have been a waste, though. I'd like to say that because I don't think I got anything from any of these Yang fighting with her dad stuff.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like a lot of the check-ins, the Weiss check-ins, other than the fact that Weiss is great, I mean, Yang is also great. They've all been a waste. Like the Weiss and Yang, like, they've wasted Weiss and Yang this season.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that. I think each arc has had like one or two good moments, but
well, it's like Weiss's arc is just slightly more interesting because like the stuff with like Jacques and then Ironwood like have a bit more like larger scale world consequences, and like we had the awesome like ballroom scene. But other than that, it's like they're both like Yang and Weiss is just like, okay, we see them and then that's it.
Yeah, I agree with that. So speaking of the Weiss stuff, My summary of this Weiss scene is like, why did they do it this way? So like, why does she need Klein's help to find the passage in the library? Why did they show Jax and Ironwood arguing, and then Ironwood not talk with Weiss at all? Why didn't Ironwood help Weiss escape? Why was Weiss still? Why did we have like the hinting of her escaping some other way before? Like, I just don't understand. This is like seems to be the least exciting way to do to conclude this arc to me.
Yes, and it makes, honestly, there's like no sense. Like, especially like the Ironwood and like Weiss's dad stuff. Like, yeah, you know, Ironwood's like, he's really like he seems like he's kind of like a little crazy, but not really. Like, he's really the only one who has any sense. Like, he's right. If Ozpin would have listened to him, then like the stuff that happened to Megan probably wouldn't have happened. But we also have like, I mean, he's acting kind of deranged. But then like everything they talked about doesn't really, like, who cares? Like, okay, yeah, they're gonna close Atlas's borders, but it doesn't matter. Weiss is leaving, so we don't care. Like, a lot of it's not making sense. And like, it's like, I don't care. They're just talking. Like, we only cared because Weiss was trying to escape literally right then.
Yeah. I mean, like, as Weiss's #1 fan, I'm fine with just watching her, like, step around the mansion, but it was not exciting, you know?
No. I'm just glad we didn't see Whitley. I hate him.
We heard Whitley's name, so...
God, I hate him.
Will we see Whitley ever again on the show?
I hope not. Probably not.
Yeah,
Winter, though, we talked about Winter. I'm excited to see Winter.
Yeah, so that's the highlight, I think, is Weiss says she's going to find Winter to Mistral.
Yes.
So Winter has been reporting that there's something's happening in Mistral.
That they're going to, like, take down Haven, probably.
Yeah. Thoughts on seeing Winter next season?
Hype! I love Winter. It's going to be great.
So let's say Crow dies next episode. Winter receives the news and she's devastated. # Winter Crow shipping.
Of course.
Isn't that going to be one of the most hype scenes?
Of course.
Winter's reaction to Crow
dying. Or she's more like, thank God he died.
No, I think most people ship that, I think.
That's great.
Okay, I do think that would be one of the things you have to handle next time.
Yeah.
Or like super hurt Crow stumbles into Mistral and Winter's like, oh, "Are you okay?" And then we see like emotional Winter.
Maybe.
There's some potential there to do something remotely interesting. So
remotely interesting, anything.
Yeah, so we have what Jax and Ironwood are talking about Winter. They say Leo, which I assume would be our headmaster at Haven.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, so it looks like Leo a major character next season.
I didn't even catch that. Like, I was like, what are you talking about? But that would make sense.
He just said the name Leo. He's like, I don't trust Leo to handle this, basically. So,
okay.
Interesting. Ironwood. So, in our next act of interesting timing on animated episode releases, we have Ironwood closing Atlas's borders.
Intriguing. Wow. Anyway.
Ironwood making
God.
Yeah, making I'm not even remembering their continent's name, but Great Again, right? There you go.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
Isn't it Atlas? It's just Atlas, right?
Atlas Great. Yeah, so thoughts on Ironwood closing the borders?
It never goes well, so
I guess this is a problem if Weiss wants to escape, right?
Well, I mean, it's not really, because he said it's happening like in the within the week, so she's gonna be gone.
You think she'll get out beforehand? I would like to see in the finale a scene of Ironwood helping Weiss escape or somehow, or them talking. Like, I think that would, yeah.
I think probably we're playing the long game with Atlas. Like,
you think they'll be relevant in a few seasons, type thing?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, I don't know how. Though I guess, I mean, we've been coming to a head for a while with Ironwood, like literally since he was introduced.
So what do you think about Ironwood in the larger plot? Do you think he's, with Ozpin gone, do you think he's our new, just kind of head good guy, larger figure, or do you think he might be eventually a long game bad guy type person?
I mean, not necessarily long game, like bad guy, but like, I mean, he's sketchy. Like, we also, like, they've also done weird things with him that weren't really effective. Like, we kind of introduced him as kind of a villain, like the whole like robot thing, and like, he's kind of a bad dude. Ozpin doesn't really like trust him, and like that stuff going on. Like, they kind of argue a lot, and then And then now it's like, oh yeah, aren't like he's fine, like he's like saves everybody and stuff. But then it's like I don't really know. So I feel like we could like he's a potential bad guy. I think he's definitely going to cause problems for Team RWBY in the future.
Yeah, I get that read too, that he's more of a problems causing than super helpful force, which is which is not where his character's been so far. So I guess that's a read on his role in the plot.
Like, I think he's kind of, like, not necessarily, like, obviously as awful as, like, Voldemort, but, like, magic is might kind of deal. Like, we're going to use a lot of, like, automated force.
Yeah.
And, like, that kind of thing.
It'd be interesting if he turned into an antagonistic force, given his, given he's kind of, like, the moral good guy right now.
Right,
so,
yeah.
Yeah. I think most importantly with Ironwood is he controls the Penny rebirth plot eventually.
Please.
So we need this to happen. Ironwood can turn into the main villain for all I care, as long as we revive Penny. That's my take.
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
Same.
So let's talk. The most substantial thing I think is the Blake stuff here. So
yes.
Okay. Before we get into specifics, how did you like how Blake was portrayed this episode?
I really didn't have a problem with it. A lot of it was like her. I mean, I get irritated because they do things like Blake's talking and then they have Sun talk and it makes Blake look bad, which is like really irritating because I like hate Sun, even though I thought he was fine in this episode. Like I was like he was okay, but I mean I don't think really what Blake's saying or doing is like awful. It's just like it's kind of a rehash of the stuff we've been doing with her character literally the entire time we've had Blake on the show. Like literally since day one, this is Blake. This is who she is. And it's not really it's not super, like, it's not awful. It's just like, we've literally done this. Like, we already had this talk, which is why it's just extra annoying coming from Sun. I just wasn't that bothered. Like, I don't think it was, like, the worst thing ever.
I mean, it's just incredibly generic heroes talk. Like,
right.
I don't know why this is where we're going with her.
Well, it's just like we've already done this, and then like I understand we have to revisit it because I mean this is more serious than when she ran away the first time. Like this is like Yang lost her arm, and like she feels really responsible for that. And then though I didn't appreciate like Sun kind of bringing Yang up, like Sun, who are you? Shut up, like shh. And then I did really like Blake talking about RWBY, like talking about like all of them, like talking about Team RWBY. I really liked that.
Yeah, our first mention of any of them talking about each other this season.
It's so irritating. I was really satisfied when she was like, I think about them every day, and I'm like, that's great.
Yeah,
but it's like,
why couldn't we have done that earlier?
Yeah. I don't think it was the worst thing ever.
It's not. I think there's one. I think that there was one part that was kind of the worst thing ever, but I'm surprised you haven't mentioned it yet. But I'm not sure if Blake is a good character right now. I think I need to see more, but yeah.
Well, I'm not convinced any of our characters, including RWBY, are good characters right now because like we haven't done any.
I think RWBY's like a good character that's not being used well. I would say the same for like Weiss and me. Like I have really good senses of who those three are. I don't know. Whenever Blake talks, I'm just like unsure if this is the thing Blake would say. So I feel like I like every time she says something. So I don't know. Her characterization I feel like is in flux for me, but I don't know.
Well, they haven't done anything different with her. She's just like it's literally like we're rehashing everything we did in Volume 2. So I don't know.
We will see. So she says she is assaulting that so Sun's fine, so take Sun off our death watch here. It's done seeing her friends get hurt, Mrs. Team RWBY, hope they hate me for leaving, they're better off without me, yada yada yada. So yeah, there you go. I guess this is a reaction you'd have to someone getting hurt, but I was hoping for more from reasons Blake left everyone.
Well, I mean this is literally like everyone I knew this was what it was. Like I knew there wasn't anything more to it. This is just how Blake this is literally Volume 2 rehashed. And I think the reason it's extra irritating is one, because this season is literally so boring. Like it's just so boring, and we keep we have literally like if basically all of these plots that they've been doing literally could have been resolved within 5 episodes, and they've dragged them so long, and they've like interspersed them to the point where that's why it's so irritating right now. Like, it would have been nicer. We have this talk in, like, episode 3, like, more recent, to the events that happened in Volume 3. But no, we're in the penultimate episode, and now we're talking about it. It's like, why are you like this? This is so frustrating. Like, I think they've kind of, like, shot themselves in the foot with, like, literally every plot this season because they've dragged it out to the nth degree, to the point where it's just like, I don't care anymore. It's boring. It's not interesting. I am interested about the White Fang stuff we're about to get because, like, Grant, I don't know if this is what you were upset about with Blake. Like, I'm not sure what comment you're referring to.
Oh, let's go. There's clearly one line. So then Sun responds, you don't get to make our choices. Oh, and the worst line of the episode, and one of the worst lines the show's done, he says, stop pushing us out. That hurts more than anything the bad guys could ever do to us.
Like, shut up, Sun.
That's just horrible writing. I don't understand. Like, Miles has made some strides, but that line is awful. Like, that is a ploy for power, but, like, worse. Like,
yes.
More than anything the bad guys could ever do to us? Why? Why would you? I don't know.
Like, shut up.
Yeah. But here's the line that should tell you. Blake says, my hero to Sun.
Oh, yes. Oh, God.
Forgot about that.
I blocked it out.
Black Sun confirmed.
I repressed it.
Black Sun confirmed.
Also, like, the mom, like, you know, is like listening, and I was like, I am so irritated right now.
Yeah, then
like,
what do you think? So before that, Blake makes the :3 face.
Yes. They do that, like, to her all the time. And
this
it's
is like the most prominent
she's
use
a cat.
of it.
It's so annoying.
This is the most prominent use of the face. It just looks so stupid.
It's so dumb.
So what do you think of Kali bursting in?
That wasn't it was annoying. I like her mom, but like obviously what they were going for was really irritating. So I did not appreciate that.
Yeah. So yeah, that whole thing.
And I repressed that. Wiped it from my mind.
Okay.
I was liking it a little bit before because like Sun just said friends, and I was like, thank you, and then no, and I was like,
it's not just the Black Suns, you know, like that we don't want to see that ship. Why would she say my hero at this
so
point?
Annoying.
It's really just
like,
not well done. Anyway,
no.
I guess that's where we're going with that. I guess you could interpret it that she's saying it sarcastically. Let's do that.
Well, the thing was like. They could, if it was sarcastic, it could have been a bit more sarcastic.
It was not. Sorry, she did not read that sarcastically. Yeah. Okay. Blake's dad says Adam's planning to overthrow the White Fang leader and attack Haven.
Super convenient scroll. Where was the super convenient scroll all season? This would have been wrapped up in 3 episodes.
Yeah. Where did you find this?
God.
Where did you find the files? Yeah.
I mean, it's on the scroll they got from her, right?
Yeah. But I think the most interesting line is the most interesting direction we've gotten from Blake in 2 seasons now. Blake says, we're not going to stop them. We're going to take the White Fang back. And
yes, let's do something interesting with the White Fang. Let's make them like what they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think this is Blake's, like the thesis statement for where they want Blake's arc to go the next 5 seasons. Like, I think this is like a long-term plot for her.
Which, that'd be great, like, if we end the series and she's, like, in charge of the White Fang and the White Fang are, like, highly respected and all that, that'd be great. Please. Yeah,
that seems like a good place to go with Blake's character. It seems great. Like, it would seem like a great direction to go after season 2. And,
it's the thing.
Ignoring the season 3 stuff, but...
I do agree that the other characters are a little bit more well-defined. Again, I just love Blake, but everyone's just kind of floating around, like...
Yeah, no, it's not just her.
And honestly, they were all floating around in Volume 3. Like, it's just like, where are our characters? They're lost. We must find them.
Yeah. I think this Take the White Fang back is, I mean, obviously I don't know for sure, but I think this is from the Monty series Bible discussion that they had, like, years ago. Like, I think this is, I could see this being, like, a super long-term plot with her.
Which, that'd be great.
Yeah, so that's exciting, I think. And
also, we've been, like, complaining about the White Fang the entire time we've known about the White Fang, so this would also have solved that problem.
And this, the other thing this does is we're worried Blake might not join the rest, but this gets her to Haven as well. So, yeah, that takes the White Fang plot to Haven, which is good for next season.
Yes, and then hopefully we kill Adam, and then it'll be like, yay.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully we just not see Adam again. Just
That'd
off-screen kill. Okay. And the last plot we have is back in Kuro Yuri. So it turns out this was coming from the village of the Scream last time, for people who said that, yay. And Ren and Nora find Ruby, John, and Crow, and Ren's freaking out. And then we see this, what we called the Horseman last week, which is, everyone thinks it's a Nucklavi, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is from, Norse Scandinavian mythology.
Interesting.
which is a horse demon thing. The key is that like the demon's like part of the horse, which is what we see in the episode. So that makes sense. So we see like the horse is like breathing, and then we see like the demon thing, and it's like twisting its head. What was your thoughts on the design of this thing?
The design's really neat. This entire scene was very confusing, and I really have no idea what's going on. But I mean, it looks cool. It's hopefully, we'll have a really cool like grim boss fight, because we haven't really had a really good fight in like.
Yeah, I mean, all they're going for with the scene is just that all of them are there, and here's the giant grim attack. That's all that's happening.
Yeah, it's just
and
like
Ren's freaking out because this is the thing that attacked his family,
and he's gonna die. So.
Okay, so Death Watch. Okay, so yeah, I think this is our boss fight. So any other things that we're fighting possibly at the end of the season?
I don't think so.
Like, what else we're not gonna have the Haven attack. It's
correct.
Yeah. So what else could it be? It could be. I mean, maybe you want to bring Raven in. Maybe the giant guy Hazel. But I don't think they set any of that up. So
I don't think we're gonna see Oscar again. Unless he's like the last scene of the next episode.
We could see. Yeah, I think we could see Oscar again. I don't know. Like, he's not going to be. I don't think he'll be important to what's happening.
Well, of course not.
Yeah. Okay. Prediction. So let's start with Death Watch. So last time we ranked the death candidates: Ren, Nora, Crow, and Sun. So I think we can take Sun off.
Yeah, no, he's fine.
So 3. So who do you think is most likely to die out of those 3?
Ren's dead. Like dead. Ren.
Why is Ren dead?
Like, he's just, like, so, like, the whole, like, his backstory, and then we're having the same grim, and, like, he's crying, like, he's dead. Bye, Ren.
So I'd agree, if not for Ren's new voice actor tweeting, "See you in season 5." This week.
I didn't see that. Okay, interesting.
So, yeah, might have spoiled that. It doesn't seem like he's the type to be. He might be throwing us off, but
I guess he's not dying.
No, I think confirmed dead is Crow. I think Crow's dead.
No, Crow's dead. Okay,
so I think Crow's won because at this point it would take a lot to bring him back. I still don't understand what the point of killing Crow is right now, but it seems like he's the most likely. And then considering the Ren tweet, I'd go Nora 2, and then Ren 3.
Yeah.
I still think why would you have the flashback episode last week unless you're going to kill one of them, but
I feel like I could see them killing Nora, which is going to irritate like the bejesus out of me.
Oh yeah. So I actually had the thought this week that I really don't want them to kill Nora. I've discovered that I actually really like Nora. So
it's not even it's not even that I like Nora that much, but it's like, since literally this freaking this season has been the biggest sausage fest ever, it's like, can we not kill off like one of the like few female characters we've actually been seeing regularly? Like, no.
Yeah. I think I genuinely like Nora. I think I liked her
like, she's
before.
Fine.
I think I like seeing her as a kid. Like, you can't just build the sympathy up. It's like such a cheap move. I don't know. Don't kill Nora.
Yeah,
that's why I would like for Crow to live because he's a good character on the show. But my primary concern is let's not kill Nora here.
That's fair.
And I would also not like to see Nora in pain, so that also involves not killing Ren. So that'd be good. Okay, how are we? Okay, so let me present you with a what would be the most interesting move they could make this season, this theory. So I read this on CO. So the theory is, so we're not, conventional wisdom says we're not getting our reunion this season because, they all just left and they're not, we couldn't come together. But what if the, Weiss, Yang, and Blake scenes we've been seeing all took place during the time skip between seasons 3 and 4? And then they've been traveling all during this season, and then in real time they'll meet back up next episode to help with this fight against the RWBY.
Okay, that's actually really interesting. That'd be really cool, but I don't think they're doing that. But that'd be really cool.
My big problem is I don't know how they'd convey the fact that that those scenes have been taking place so many months ago. Yeah, you need like words on the screen or something, and the show doesn't do that. I just don't know narratively how you'd convey that to the audience.
No, you couldn't. Like, it's like I can see them doing that, and it makes sense. But like, the show has done literally nothing to for that to make sense, like visually. And as someone who's watching this show and hasn't read that theory on CO.
I guess that they'd have to see, we'd have to have a montage of them traveling and us seeing events. They see events that we saw happen earlier, but I don't know what events we saw in the RWBY plots that would Yeah, that would be the best thing they could do, because then we'd see Team RWBY fight at the end of this season.
And that'd be awesome.
Yeah. But probably we will not see any of them again, and the finale will just focus on... Will we even see Blake, Weiss, and Yang in the finale?
I doubt it.
I don't know.
It's kind of like it feels like we've kind of come to the end of all of them, like their arcs this season, because like we have one episode left and like they're just starting. Like this episode is literally, it's kind of like we were talking about Voltron. You know, Voltron season 2 to you felt just like, just like season 1.5. Well, that's how this season feels like for the next season. It just feels like build up to volume 5.
Yeah, let's quickly address this. So someone in the comments wrote after last week's that they thought they heard that they're treating each of the seasons as like groups of 3, which I think would make a lot of sense to what they're doing here. So if you think of it like that, if you think of this as not its own season, but the first third of a new season, like the last season was the conclusion to the first season, and this is like the first part of season 2, then I think what they're doing here makes a lot more sense, because this is really just the first 4 episodes of what should be the season, the content of this. Nothing interesting has happened at all, and our finale is not going to be too consequential. So, I guess they're just looking at the season structure differently, in that they're not all seasons are like full seasons, and that first of all, the show doesn't work weekly, so it's all about viewing them together, and then second of all, it not that it doesn't work, it just works less well, and second of all, that it would like this will fit in better if you're if 10 years from now, after all 13 seasons are done, then you watch them all together, then it would probably work a lot better together with the rest of the seasons. But as its own season, really not working.
Also, like, I mean, that's really, like, I do agree that makes a lot more sense, especially considering, like, volumes 1 through 3. But the thing is also, like, that still doesn't excuse that this is, like, an awful season. Like, I don't know, like...
Yeah, on its own, it's not great either, but...
Like, I guess my thing is just, I mean, in Volume 3, like, I mean, granted, this season has given me so much of appreciation for, like, Volume 3. Like, I was like, wow, I hated Volume 3, and now I'm like, wow, this is so much worse than Volume 3.
Yeah, Volume 3 Volume 3 is better because it just had more interesting things.
It had stuff happening, at least. I mean, some of it was, like, awful things, like the Atom thing, but at least, like, stuff happened. But, I don't know, like, I mean, that makes a lot more sense. It's just really irritating that we've had, what episode number is this? Is it, like, 12?
This is 11, and then next
11.
12, yeah.
Okay, that's, like, it took you 11 episodes to do this. Like, this is so boring. Like, honestly, it would have made more sense to have, like, separate episodes and, like, conclude arcs quicker, like, than having them all conclude at the same time, because it's literally so boring, especially considering what Weiss and Yang are doing. Like, it's just not exciting, and it's very, like, Weiss is great, Yang's great, but, like, what they're doing is so not interesting.
It's if they're going for more of a 3-season long type thing, then releasing the show weekly is just really bad. That's the thing. Like, it's not like when you try to defend this like that, it's not like I'm consuming this, not how they're putting it out. They're clearly putting the show out weekly.
There's a difference between, like, it's like when you argue about the best ways to watch the Star Wars movies. At least all the Star Wars movies are, like, out now, and you can, like, watch them. And they release them the way they were they were released, like, kind of intended the way they were intended to be watched. This is like, no, it's bad. Like, this isn't...
When you go to make a series, your first goal is to, like, conform to how it's going to be consumed, because what are you doing? Like, no one's ever just going to watch it if it's like groups of 3 or seasons at a time. Like, if you're designing this for movie length on Netflix,
just drop it
then
like
that's
that.
Then just do it. I don't know. Especially when the people making the series are the ones releasing it too. Like, there's not even a disconnect between.
Well, that's it. And, like, there's no, like, they can do whatever they want. That's the thing too. Like, there's, like, and also it's just released online. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
Like,
anyway, we'll get into that. We'll get into that more next podcast when we're reviewing the season as a whole. Last question: how are we going to defeat the Knuckleby? So,
oh God,
are we A silver eyes?
Potentially.
B, some sort of maiden powers, something.
Yeah.
I see. What did we? An artifact? What was it called this season?
It was an artifact.
A relic.
A relic.
Yeah, we've ended that hasn't been relevant at all.
No, 0%.
Relic. So what's happening here?
Okay, so I'm gonna rank these by like what I think the likelihood of each of these options
There's probably
are.
more options too. I just forgot them, but yeah.
I think option A is like 50% likely. Granted, it's only 50% because that would make sense, but the other 50% is like it would make sense. That's why they're not going to do it. And then, because like we literally haven't had anything about Grey Eyes since the end of Volume 3, and it's like, oh no, okay, we talked about it, like, and Crow said literally nothing about it. It was like, cool, you just said it. We still don't know what's going on. Awesome. And then B is like 0%, and then I think C is also 0%. Like, I don't know.
So what if Oscar shows up with a relic or something? I don't know. Yeah, will Oscar? I think Oscar could show up. I don't know.
I mean, he could, but
he's the only one we've seen actually traveling. So
that's
far.
true. He actually got on a train. We assume he got on a train.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I read someone in the comments last week. If there's trains just running the continents, why isn't Team RWBY on a train?
Thank you. Okay, I was also like, okay, this is a train station. What the heck? We've been on foot.
Why are we walking the whole time?
So dumb. It makes no sense.
Yeah, there's
also the thing is like there's just this disconnect between like I understand we have like the medieval Japan aesthetic, but then we also have like super high tech technology. I'm like, none of this makes sense.
Yeah, that's more aesthetic, but yeah.
But then like we literally have them walking, and I'm like, okay, there's trains though, y'all. Like,
I forgot we had an ask from Oh God Not Her who says, hey. I didn't know they could do it, but that Grimm scared the pants off me. Also, Sorry. I'm censoring her. Also, the whole episode was good. I actually enjoyed myself. See, here's the thing that I found with episodes of the season. There's zero agreement on episode quality. Last episode I thought was the best this season. You didn't like it. This episode I'm like male on Oh God Not Her likes it. In the comments last week, people like I have seen no consensus on what is a good and bad episode.
No, see, because I was like, so I have two friends who watch the show. There's Hank, who watches the show. He's like my best friend. And Hank's also like, this is boring. And like, he watched this episode before I did, and he was like, oh yeah, it just kind of ended where it started last week. And I was like, interesting, okay. And then my friends like to make, they're like, I had a friend listen to one of the podcasts and was like, and then my other friend saw it, Erica, and she was like, oh my God, are you bad-mouthing RWBY again? And I was like, we're going to have a talk, because, like, you're wrong. So yeah,
well, first of all, there's people who still are like, the show's great, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, but, like, I got, like, this lecture, like, oh, they're building up to things. I'm like, okay, I podcast on the show every week, okay, but...
Yeah, we understand they're building up to things. It doesn't make it easier any better to watch at the moment.
Exactly. My thing is like there's kind of like I would like to enjoy what I'm watching, and it's not happening right now. So yeah, there's like no agreement. Like Hank's with us, and then my friend Erica's like, RWBY's the best thing ever, and I'm like, okay.
There's like that. There's obviously like disenfranchised fans. And the problem is a lot of them stop watching, so there's not as many. But there's also I'm just like specific episodes. Even I just have like, what's the best episode of the season? Like who
knows.
Like, I would say, like, Kuro Yuri or Family, but I don't think anyone would agree on, so whatever. Okay, last thing. Any other random specific predictions for the finale?
I would really like Grey Eyes to happen, but I don't think it's going to, because that would make sense, and we would actually have some sort of, like, unity, but that's not going to happen. I really don't know how they're going to beat the thing. Like, it looks really scary. I do agree with Oh God Not Her. I was also like, this is kind of scary. I don't know. That's been my problem the whole season. Volume 3, we called everything that happened. We were like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Like, it was very clearly led up to, which, being predictable is like something you can also complain about. But like this season, it's like, I don't know where we're going. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not interested. We're not doing anything fun. Like, I'm bored.
Yeah, the base level is just, in the finale, we just beat this thing, and, like, Crow dies, and it's emotional, and maybe one of Ren and Nora dies, and that's it. Like
maybe Crow dying, like, triggers Grey Eyes. Like, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, like, what's the big surprise? Is there a big surprise coming? And my current theory is no, if this isn't the same level of finale as the season 3 finale, which was like a legitimate finale, then if this is like more of a mid-season finale, then I wouldn't expect anything crazy to happen. But and like, I think this episode would really support that, the fact that nothing really happened in the second to last of the season. So
also, I don't think they're going to actually defeat the Grimm.
Okay. Yeah. What if more? What if there's like a second one? What if
Well, my thoughts are more like, so we have this kind of like clearly kind of like scary, very powerful Grimm, and we don't have Team RWBY. Team Ranger kind of sucks. I'm gonna be honest.
Right, they're definitely not a favorite to beat this thing.
Like they're not like team, in comparison to team, like even Team Juniper would have stood a better chance, but like they're just like they're not that good. Sorry, they're not really in the best condition to fight, and then I just feel like this is gonna be more of a survive situation. Like we try to get out of this like as well as we can, and then on our way. So maybe they might. Like, I feel like it's not going to be so much of, like, destroying the Grimm as, like, they incapacitate it in some way. Like, or trap it. Because, like, I really don't... It's hard for me to imagine, aside from, like, a gray ice moment, like, something spectacular happening.
Yeah.
I don't know what would happen.
Yeah. I want to know from this finale, what is the point of this Knuckle V Grimm plot? That's kind of what I would know. Like what
is the point of this really scary Grimm?
Yeah, let's figure that out. So I'd like to get into that. I'll say we see Oscar. I'd say there's a higher likelihood than one would think that we'll have at least 2 members of Team RWBY reunite.
That'd be cool.
We'll see.
Maybe.
More likely for the premiere, but we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
Let us know what you thought of Taking Control, and let us know your finale predictions. YouTube comments, subscribe on there. Death Watch. I think everyone says Crow, but anyone not on our Death Watch you think could randomly die, and comments on our website overlyanimated.com. Check out there for all of our RWBY and other content. Consider supporting us at patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you to all of our patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Phonician, aka Fusion. Thank you very much, Phonician, for all your support. And check out patreon.com/overlyanimated. So we'll be back next week with the finale discussion. Very exciting. And
kind of exciting.
More exciting than any other episode this season, at the very least.
Hopefully, yeah, it's true.
One would hope. It's a very low bar.
Yes.
It's a very low bar to pass here. Last comments, Delaney.
This episode's like, okay.
There you go. There you go.
It's okay.
Excellent last comments. Okay, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.